For varying reasons, whether it be disdain for the sequels or just wanting some more lighthearted stories that don't deal with the canon timeline as much. Star Wars fans have been pushing for what-if stories for quite a bit now, and this only grew when Marvel announced their own what-if animated series, which has a second season on the horizon. The Star Wars Infinities comic miniseries from the early 2000s sort of gave fans what they wanted, telling stories like what if Luke Skywalker missed his shot on the Death Star, or what if C-3PO was unable to interpret for Jabba at the beginning of Return of the Jedi. But these comics were all focused on their original trilogy films, and as many problems as it would likely cause in the fandom creating stories that are separate from the canon timeline, it's something that I think many fans would be excited to see. Here are the top 10 what-if scenarios that Lucasfilm could do a story on. First, what if Anakin didn't murder Dooku? Anakin Skywalker murdering Count Dooku in Revenge of the Sith is a turning point. It allowed Emperor Palpatine to exercise more control over him. This built trust and helped Palpatine lure Anakin to the dark side as Darth Vader. One has to wonder what would have happened if Anakin had said no to killing Dooku when he found Palpatine hostage. This could have led to Dooku outing Palpatine, who tried to coax his death, or to Dooku and Palpatine trying to work a new plan. Either way, fans would have gotten the Jedi Anakin was always supposed to be. It's been hinted at with this direction possibly having Anakin dodgily hunting Palpatine to end the Sith threat and bring balance to the Force. Another what-if scenario would be what if Luke Skywalker didn't try to kill Ben. The sequel trilogy revealed an older Luke who had lost faith and gave into fear with his vision of Ben Solo's power. Him trying to kill the boy resulted in Ben fleeing, joining Snoke, and becoming Kylo Ren. What if could dissect if Luke decided to have a proper conversation with him. This could have improved them as Jedi Master and Apprentice, allowing Force ghosts like Yoda to help. With the sacred Jedi text, they'd perfect the Order as Ben wouldn't have killed Luke's other students. It would change the New Republic completely, giving Leia and Co. a proper Jedi Order to fight the First Order, the Knights of Ren, and stop Palpatine's resurrection. Had they even found Rey, they could have lured her to the Jedi side earlier, rather than let her contemplate with the dark side. A big what-if that's even been delved into a bit with the Revenge of the Sith video game is what if ObiWan lost to Darth Vader, except here we're talking about their duel in the Obi-Wan Kenobi Disney Plus series. The series had Obi-Wan fighting and beating Vader, realizing his friend was lost. This tipped dominoes that would lead to an older Ben Kenobi watching over Luke Skywalker to kickstart the entire Skywalker saga. A what-if where Obi-Wan lost that fight, however, would be game-changing. There would be no A New Hope. Luke would have never been found, which would have positioned Vader better in Palpatine's eyes. Or worse, Vader could have located and co-opted the kid. This would have given Vader an impressionable, powerful Force wielder to corrupt, allowing him to betray Palpatine. It would have been Vader's dream, showing fans how evil Luke could have been outside stories such as the expanded universe's Dark Empire. The entire Skywalker saga hinges on one major decision in The Phantom Menace, but what if Yoda had refused to Qui-Gon? When Qui-Gon Jinn brought Anakin to the Jedi Council, it felt like Yoda had final say. Imagine a world where Yoda rebuffed Anakin. It may have led to Palpatine finding the boy and honing him as a weapon. Anakin working with Palpatine and Darth Maul, then being sharpened against Maul and Dooku would have been scary. Seeing as the comics revealed Palpatine was indeed Anakin's father, he could have made Vader more angry, human, and powerful. This Vader would have had a totally different outlook with Shmi around, deciding proactive force would be needed to stop slavery, and such. The only difference is he'd be more of a blind war dog than the older, burned Jedi who at least had some sense of identity. Another scenario would be what if Ahsoka was able to kill Vader on Malachor. In Rebels, Ahsoka fought her former mentor and survived. It was a brutal battle that took a lot out of Vader, but thankfully, Ahsoka had the Morai Owl, aka the daughter that represents light and life, to keep watch. But one has to wonder what she would have become if she killed Anakin. That grief and trauma could have had her hating the Jedi even more. It would have reframed everything post-Rebels, giving her a journey that may have ended with her embracing the dark side that Rey was meant to walk. This could have turned an Ahsoka into hiding into a figure like Baylan Skoll or Shin Hati. She might have been so desperate, she would have seen Thrawn as a reset button. It's haunting to think of, but Dark Ahsoka was hinted at in the cartoon, so it would be totally feasible. Rogue One showed fans the mission that got the Death Star plans into the hands of the Rebellion, but what if Jyn Erso and her team had failed on Scarif? Rogue One had Jyn Erso's team stealing the Death Star data from Scarif, but dying. This paved the way for A New Hope onwards. Had they been incinerated before the data got out, though, a what if would have had a more ruthless empire. Knowing spies infiltrated, they'd have been more oppressive and emboldened. They'd have pushed to take out the rebels seen earlier in Andor and Obi-Wan Kenobi. This may have unleashed a scary, unified Palpatine and Vader like never before, intent on ending more innocents via genocide with the Death Star, which likely would have never been destroyed. One of the many criticisms of The Rise of Skywalker was that it killed off the redeemed villain yet again. But what if Ben Solo lived? The Rise of Skywalker ended with Rey and a redeemed Ben killing Palpatine. Ben died, though, which paves the way for a what-if of his survival. It would be intriguing seeing him and Rey using Luke's text, and ghosts like Leia, Luke, Yoda, and such. Fans would have loved to see them adjusting what attachment and love means. They may have had Jedi kids. It would have been a really bright, optimistic era that Luke would have been proud of, with possible allies like Grogu, Din, and Bo-Katan's crew, as well as Ahsoka and Sabine to join in this idealistic ending. But until the new Jedi Order movie comes out, or at least until we get more story details, it's hard to even say how the fallout of the Final Order's defeat would have changed if Ben Solo had lived. Another what-if scenario would be what if Darth Vader survived a Return of the Jedi. When Darth Vader killed Palpatine, it was heartbreaking seeing him reunite with Luke. Fans were made curious how a galaxy would have looked like had he lived. He could have atoned by training Luke and Leia while helping usher in a new generation. This would include Ahsoka completing her journey. This Vader may have tried to stop Thrawn's return. An older, robotic Anakin showing compassion and empathy would have resonated with the new Jedi, including the likes of Ezra Bridger, Ben Solo, and if they did find her, Rey. Seeing Vader hunting the Sith Eternal on Exegol and stopping Palpatine with his family does feel like the icing on the cake. The Final Order was quickly introduced and defeated in The Rise of Skywalker, with not much time taken to establish their threat to the galaxy. But that's something we could have seen had the Final Order won at Exegol. A galaxy where Palpatine killed Ben and took over Rey's body would have been interesting. He'd have a massive fleet upon breaking the Resistance, allowing him to rule in an even more twisted manner. He would know all the past mistakes, shaping an even crueler regime. With the older rebels extinguished, the new Imperial movement would have given Palpatine free reign and a chance to really show the power of the Sith. A realm with no Jedi could have been like the time the Sith only had to worry about themselves, creating a period of unfettered magic and science with Palpatine looking to perfect paradise and immortality. And potentially the biggest what if Mace Windu was able to kill Palpatine in Revenge of the Sith? Had Mace Windu killed Palpatine, fans may have seen a darker, more fascist Jedi Order. It would have changed the entire complexation of the franchise, with Anakin, had he survived Mace, possibly going on the run. If Senator Amidala became pregnant, Luke and Leia may have been hunted too, turning them all into anti-heroes who would just want a way back to Coruscant. It would be quite the test for an ObiWan wondering how extreme his orders become. It would evoke Marvel's Civil War, with other Jedi curious if what they were doing was the right thing. They may have had their own Order 66, having to kill evil clones and whatnot. It would sure leave the likes of Yoda pondering morals and ethics regarding what they built and where it's heading. Which of these scenarios would you want to see play out the most? Let me know in the comments below. Remember to like the video and subscribe for more videos like this. And remember to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Thank you all for watching, and remember, the Force will be with you. Always.